when there's a protest of liberals, like at the inauguration or
we should come up with
Trump
a name
things.
for that, right? Like, a pod of whales, a pride of lions. A group of protesters are called what? Idiots?
Yeah. So it turns out that when the liberals are protesting Donald Trump, it's common for a conservative to infiltrate the group, get in the middle of the group, and then start violence to make it look like the liberals are the ones that are violent.
No, I heard that's just the opposite.
Yeah, and I mean, all of the evidence shows that it actually is just the opposite.
Yeah.
The only issue that we've ever had that I'm aware of at one of our Second Amendment marches in Lansing was some liberal walking by that decided they wanted to cause a little bit of trouble. And they didn't, because the people that were at the rally attending are responsible.
Right.
And the state police dealt with it really quickly.
Right.
But the only and it was minor, but the only trouble I know of was by some anti-gun person walking by.
What about the when you and I were at the one rally where they had the that organization that intercedes between the protesters?
Oh, that was awesome.
I can't remember the name of what that group is. Peace, yeah.
It was Peace Team.
Peace Team, yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. What
happens if there was a fight? Well, we'd just hug you.
Yeah, and that's not you and I were. I was holding an AK-47 pistol,
right.
and they were like, "We're here to protect you in case there's violence."
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Please just stay out of my way.
What would happen if we were being attacked? Well, we'd just hug you, and that would stop the attack. Okay. This firearm can go through 3 people.
I wish that was a joke, but it isn't.
It happened. Some of the people were threatening to throw acid on people
at the inauguration.
Yeah, at the inauguration. Yeah. I don't know. I hope nothing happens.
Didn't we invite them to come to one of our rallies?
The acid throwers?
No, yes. No, the
I don't think we want acid throwers there.
The Peace Team. Well, what kind of acid are we talking about?
Mercuric acid?
Oh, not like the drug.
Not like an antacid.
No, I meant like popping acid.
If those Rolade tablets can really hurt your eye, you could put an eye out with those.
They could.
Yeah, you could.
So it's a threat. I think there's probably a lot of threats. I don't think much will happen, honestly.
I think, like a lot of things, the bark is worse than the bite, right?
And here's the thing. You can do whatever you want. You could even be so violent to cause the whole inauguration to be shut down outside. Where
I don't think that'll happen.
Well, I'm saying, pretend you did.
Okay.
He's going to go inside into a secure area, take the oath of office,
still say,
and
I
still
do.
become the president of the United States of America. You are not going to stop it.
And what have you gained by that?
Right.
You'll just look like a bunch of idiots.
Right.
Oh, Obama's last speech or whatever, he had some
what? Oh, geez,
parting
are we
comments.
on that? I'm not ready for that. That's
Okay.
a whole long thing.
Well,
is that really what you want to go with?
Yeah,
right
I think
now?
we're there. And you were going to plagiarize it all from Judge Napolitano.
Well, I wasn't going to say who it was from.
I think you should say that.
Okay.
It was his article.
Yeah, so this is on Reason.com is where I found it. Andrew Napolitano. And this happened on January 3rd, so it says it's his final parting shot at freedom. That's not quite right.
No.
But Loretta Lynch signed an order that made it easy, or much easier anyway, for the agencies other than the NSA, so the FBI, the CIA, those sorts of things, to get the data that the NSA is collecting so that then they can use it. And we're talking about domestically, U.S. citizens, the data that they're collecting. Your cell phone usage, all the metadata, which whatever.
Question.
Yes.
It mentions the CIA in this.
Yes.
The CIA is not supposed to be spying or collecting data on citizens of the U.S. They're supposed to be working outside of the United States.
Well, you know.
So what the hell is the CIA even being mentioned in this?
Well, so it goes back.
It's the FBI's prerogative.
It goes back to Nixon.
In jurisdiction.
Nixon supposedly, allegedly used the FBI and the CIA, right?
unlawfully, I suppose.
Unlawfully. But that's when we got the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Shortly after that.
He
FISA.
resigned, if I recall.
He did. And then got a full pardon.
Yeah.
So, FISA courts.
Yeah.
FISA.
Yeah.
FISA was
No,
passed.
it's FISA.
FISA was passed.
FISA.
Sure, FISA, because it is intelligence,
It's
not intelligence.
It's not amicably. It's amicably.
Anyway, NPR is horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially what FISA said was that it was a secret court.
Nate's recovering from pneumonia.
Not really recovering, I guess, but
In the middle of.
and it's not pneumonia. It's herpes or something.
Yeah, it's something like that. He's got a cough.
I was trying every time. I'm serious.
You're doing a good
this
job.
Is a big deal here.
I know. I'm
and
sorry.
you're making fun of me.
I'm sorry. I think he's going to die.
Okay, so originally,
Well, healthcare in Washington, D.C. is exemplary. You'll be fine.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I've hit my deductible. I can tell you that.
Yeah, you have. $1.69.
I think I've hit everybody's deductible.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm paying for that surgery.
and you know what? Thanks, Obamacare. That's all I have to say, because it's a hell of a savings.
That sex change. You look great, though. You look damn good. I might even date you. All right, so what about this damn final parting shots?
Oh boy! All right. So back in the 70s, when FISA was passed, the idea was it's a secret court, but the idea was the court would issue
I remember that.
warrants
Yeah.
to agencies that needed to spy on foreign people that were associated with foreign agencies
For non-law enforcement purposes.
for non-law enforcement purposes.
Yeah.
But the intent was, if there's somebody like from Russia operating in the United States, this was a way for them to, in the warrant had to be very specific with a specific name, somebody with probable cause. Well, this changed from probable cause of a crime to probable cause of being a foreign agent. Okay, that's
Right.
what this FISA did. So it was bad enough from the beginning.
So what happened was, all these Greek families, they had these great Coney Island recipes. The FBI and CIA were getting the recipes and selling them, because nothing is better than a good Coney Island.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that later in the show. Go ahead.
I can't.
Nate is dying. Let's see.
You should have prepped on this one, I think.
I should have, but I didn't. All right. So, anyway, this is a bad thing. I'm skimming this
I offered
article.
to cancel. over
You did. You said we shouldn't do a show tonight.
over
I
the
said, "No,
years,
come on.
over the years with things like the Patriot Act.
Yeah. Jesus.
Let's move on.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay. All right. Maybe. We'll
come back.
We're not really ready for a commercial yet either. Oh boy.
We can.
We can talk about Mothra, or we can.
Yeah, let's talk about Mothra.
Anyways, what the parting shot on personal freedom is that you have less, right? In summary, the government is spying on us more and more.
Over the years, this whole act's been redefined. The Patriot Act did it, made it so it didn't even have to be a foreign agency. It could just be a foreign person that they could spy on in the U.S. And then it got down to where now that the FISA court or the FBI can write their own warrants,
right? Which they've been able to do.
And the reason for the warrant can be governmental necessity,
right? Whatever
that is.
Yeah.
But before this, up until January 3rd, the NSA had this data and they kept it to themselves unless there was a specific warrant. What this allowed,
I see. Okay.
What this allowed was that the FBI, CIA, whoever can, to make it administratively efficient, they can just say, we have a governmental necessity, and the NSA can share that data. So now the FBI can, in minutes, get whatever data the NSA has.
Phone call conversations, emails, Facebook stuff, business transactions, banking transactions.
Now,
everything.
If you think it won't affect you, don't forget that one of the warrants that was granted, named the 115 million Verizon wireless customers as the target of the warrant.
Well, that would be necessary.
And very specific, like a warrant's supposed to be, right?
Right.
Uh-huh. That's
Jesus.
every single... You have Verizon Wireless, there is an active warrant saying
on
that...
all your data.
Yep.
That's freaking scary.
I mean, that's not new. That's been...
No, I know. They've been doing that. But you think about it and you go, oh, my God. What's this country come to?
It's horrible. So that was Loretta Lynch, and, of course, President Barack Obama allowed it to happen because she reports to him just on January 3rd. Why... Just weeks, a couple weeks before the end of the presidency, why would somebody in that administration do something so drastic? There has to be a reason.
Maybe it can be undone.
It could be undone.
Maybe,
sure.
Hopefully.
I mean, so my next question, which may be more important, why does the Attorney General of the United States have the power to write an order, right? It's not even an executive order. It's a Attorney General order.
Right. Within her purview. That
somehow changes what warrant is needed? I mean, it was bad enough when FISA was passed, how perverted the Fourth Amendment became.
It was, yeah.
It's out of hand.
I agree. It's Big Brother.
All right, I made it.
All right, so you want to do the Moth thing before we go into a break? That sounds good.
Yes, I do. It's amazing.
All right, so what's kind of cool, and I've always wanted this to happen as a scientist, and you know I'm a scientist, Nate, right? Mm-mm. I've always wanted some kind of mineral named after me or something, but I didn't want to do the work for it. I didn't want to have to go out there and find a new mineral or a rock or something to name it the Jeff site or whatever, But apparently, if you're a president-elect, you get things named after you. And so a biologist found a newly discovered species of moth, and he named it Neopelpa donaldtrumpia. It's a wee little creature found in parts of California and Baja, Mexico, with its hair tufts, which aren't hair tufts, they're scales on a moth.
And you know that because you're a scientist.
I do. Its presence in U.S. Mexico and its fragile habitat that needs conservation. He says, I really did not have any choice with this other than to name the moth after President-elect himself. And he's hoping that by doing so, the president will be sympathetic to future scientific funding, which he's already talked about in his staff of defunding a lot of science and arts.
Which would be great if he did that.
We have a picture on our prep page. What do you think, Nate?
No, it absolutely looks like Donald Trump's hair.
It does not.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me?
It looks like a little spittle of whitish, orangish, tannish earwax.
What it looks like is a comedian's impersonation of Donald Trump's hair.
That I would go with.
When people dress up as Donald Trump to make fun of him, that's what it looks like.
It's a tiny little moth, and they named it after Donald Trump, which is cool because it will be there forever, right?
It's cool for Donald Trump, not so cool for the moth.
No, God, the moth was embarrassed.
All of his gay moth friends won't be friends with him anymore.
No, they're going to protest out in front. They're going to flutter around in the
light
flames.
Themselves on fire.
Yeah, they're going to fly into light bulbs and burn up in protest. That's what moths do.
Hey, when we come back, we can talk about bears.
Okay, but let's do a trivia.
Oh,
or not a trivia question.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, why not? Right?
Yes.
I love the Civil War. I know a lot about the Civil War. Might say I'm an enthusiast.
What's so civil about war anyway?
Oh, I hate that lyric. Which state was the first to secede from the Union before the start of the Civil War?
Michigan.
And Fort Sumter comes into play on this.
Or Sumter, Michigan.
Not Sumter, Michigan.
AdOutShow.com, Facebook.com/AdOutShow.
Give a telephone number. Do you
know
the telephone?
248-455-ODDS, 248-455-6337.
How do you remember that? I just can't do it.
No, we'll be right back.
Lock it in. And rip the knob off. Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open